The space station was alive with a jumble of sounds, lights, and colors. Merchants shouted over the bustling crowd, advertising exotic goods from dozens of worlds. Alien species of every imaginable shape and size mingled in the market. Some floated, some crawled, some walked on two legs, while others had dozens of limbs that moved in perfect harmony. The air smelled of spices, metal, and a faint electric hum from the station's energy grid. Amid all this chaos, one figure struggled to move. Burak, a large, obese alien from the planet Garen, sat slumped in the middle of a busy walkway. His round body blocked the path for dozens of shoppers. His legs, thick and weak, could not support his weight. He had already fallen twice that day, his arms flailing as he tried to push himself up. Onlookers muttered under their breath. Some laughed. Others looked away, pretending they had not seen him. But Burak could not move. He could only plead softly, almost too quietly to hear over the market's noise. "Please, don't hurt me. I can't walk," he whispered, his voice trembling. A small child, a human girl of about 8 named Lily Dallin, noticed him immediately. She tugged at her father's hand, her eyes wide with concern. "Daddy, that alien is hurt," she said. "Why is no one helping him?" Mark Dallin looked at the crowd and then down at the alien. Burak's large, drooping eyes shone with fear and exhaustion. His round body heaved as he tried to take a shallow breath. His voice, though soft, carried an urgent tone of desperation. Mark felt a sharp pang in his chest. He was a man used to dealing with emergencies, but he had never seen anything like this. He knelt beside Burak, careful not to startle him. "Hey, are you okay?" Mark asked gently. "Do you need help?" Burak's eyes widened even more. He hesitated, then nodded slowly. I was robbed. My transport. They took it. I cannot walk. And now I am stuck." "Robbed? Who did this?" Mark asked, glancing around at the crowd. No one moved. The market continued as if nothing had happened. I do not know," Burak admitted. They are dangerous. Please, stay away." Mark reached out a hand. "I'm not going to hurt you. We'll figure this out. Come on, you're not alone." Burak's hands shook as he hesitated. Slowly, carefully, he let Mark help him lean forward. Mark could feel the weight of the alien's body pressing against him, heavier than anything he had lifted before. But he did not complain. Lily watched, eyes sparkling with admiration. "Don't worry, we'll get you safe," Mark said. It was not easy moving Burak through the market. His round body jostled against merchandise stalls. Small robotic vendors beeped in alarm as he brushed past them. Merchants shouted angrily, demanding he be moved aside. But Mark kept steady, guiding Burak with calm precision. Lily skipped alongside them, pointing out hazards and offering encouragement. "You're doing great, Mr. Burak," she said cheerfully. "Just a little more, you can do it." Burak's long, round arms trembled as he tried to hold himself steady. I never had someone help me before," he admitted softly. "You're not alone now," Mark replied. "That's the important part." Some of the crowd began to take notice. Whispers spread through the market like wildfire. "A human is helping the alien," one alien muttered. "Humans? They actually care?" The attention made Burak nervous. He lowered his head and muttered, I do not want trouble." Mark smiled reassuringly. "No trouble. Just a friend." Eventually, they reached a quieter section of the station, near a small maintenance area. Mark rented a small cargo transport vehicle, the kind used for goods delivery, and carefully helped Burak into it. The alien's body sagged in relief, and he let out a long, exhausted sigh. "Thank you," Burak said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I did not think anyone would help." "Of course," Mark said. "Everyone deserves help. No one should be left alone when they need it." Lily leaned over the side of the transport and smiled. "See? You're safe now. Isn't it nice to have a friend?" Burak's eyes shimmered. He had never been treated this way. In his world, those who were large or weak were often left behind, ridiculed, or even attacked. But this human, this father and his daughter, had helped him without hesitation. Humans, you are different, Burok said, almost shyly. Mark chuckled. Different in a good way, I hope. Burok nodded, a small smile forming. It was the first genuine smile he had shown in days. As the transport moved slowly through the market, Mark noticed something troubling. Small groups of aliens lingered in the shadows, watching. Their expressions were not friendly. It seemed clear they were the ones who had robbed Burok earlier. They whispered to each other, pointing, calculating. Stay calm, Mark said to Burok. We'll keep you safe. Burok's round hands gripped the side of the transport. I hope so. They might try to hurt me again. Mark put a steady hand on his shoulder. Not while I'm here. Lily nodded, her small face serious. No one can hurt you with us around. Right, Dad? Right, Mark said firmly. The transport turned a corner and entered a wider, more open area. The space here was less crowded, and the lights reflected off metallic walls, giving the area a soft golden glow. Burok relaxed slightly. He could breathe easier, and the fear in his eyes began to fade. You humans, you are very brave, Burok said quietly. Most species, most would have ignored me, or laughed. Mark shook his head. Bravery isn't about fighting. It's about helping when someone can't help themselves. Burok looked thoughtful. He had never considered bravery in that way. On his home planet, strength was measured by power, speed, and size. Those who could not defend themselves were often forgotten, but now sitting in this transport he felt something new. Hope. By the time they reached a small resting area near the medical wing of the station, Burok was exhausted. Mark helped him out of the transport carefully. We'll get you checked, and make sure you have something to help you move, Mark explained. Burok's large eyes filled with gratitude. I cannot thank you enough. You, humans, are truly remarkable. Lily grinned. We like helping. It's fun. Mark smiled at his daughter. He was proud, not of himself, but of her. Even at her young age, she understood the importance of kindness. The medical droids arrived and began assessing Burok's condition. They were efficient and gentle, examining his legs and overall health. Burok felt nervous at first, but with Mark and Lily by his side, he felt safe. As the medical droids worked, Mark leaned down and whispered to Burok. You're going to be okay. We'll make sure you can get around safely again. Burok nodded. For the first time in a long while, he believed it. The fear and helplessness that had filled his day began to fade. The station market continued, its chaos outside, oblivious to the quiet miracle that had just occurred. But inside this small corner a bond had formed. A human father, his brave daughter, and an alien in need had connected in a way that transcended species, language, and culture. Burok watched Mark and Lily, his mind racing with thoughts he could not fully express. These humans were unlike anyone he had ever met. They did not judge him. They did not fear him. They only helped. And that simple act, that simple choice, changed everything. As the medical droids prepared a temporary transport aid for Burok, he turned to Mark and said softly, Perhaps humanity has a place among the stars. A good place. Mark smiled and ruffled Lily's hair. We try our best, that's all anyone can do. For Burok, this small act of kindness was more than enough. It was hope. It was courage. And it was the beginning of a story that would be remembered across worlds. The medical droids finished their work, and Burok slowly adjusted to the new support frame that allowed him to move without putting all his weight on his weak legs. His round body sat carefully in the device, which hummed softly as it balanced him. Mark and Lily watched closely, making sure the alien was comfortable. Thank you, Burok said again, his voice quieter now, almost shy. I cannot believe. You did not leave me there, Mark smiled. No one deserves to be left alone, Burok, especially not someone who needs help. Burok's large eyes seemed to glisten. On my world. People, they laugh at me. They say I am slow. I am heavy, weak. I cannot fight. I am useless. Useless? Mark repeated, frowning. No one is useless. You just need help, that's all. Burak looked down at the floor, embarrassed. Help is rare. Most fear me, or they take advantage. Lily's small hand reached out. That's not fair. You shouldn't be treated that way. Mark put a hand on Burak's round shoulder. Lily's right. Everyone deserves respect no matter how they look or how strong they are. Burak inhaled deeply. I was moving through the station, carrying some rare spices from my home, when they surrounded me. Large ones, fast ones, they took my transport, and all my supplies. I could not chase them. I am too slow, too weak. Mark listened carefully. He was no stranger to trouble, but the greed and cruelty of some beings in the galaxy never failed to amaze him. Do you remember who they were? Can we find them? Burak shook his head. I do not know. I could not see their faces. They were in masks, and I was too frightened. I could not fight. Mark glanced at Lily. We'll figure it out. Don't worry, but first we need to make sure you're safe. Burak nodded. Safe, yes. Thank you. Once Burak felt stable, Mark carefully guided him out of the medical wing. The market outside was louder than ever. Merchants argued with customers, children laughed, and a group of floating robots zipped past carrying packages. Yet amidst the chaos, Mark could sense eyes following them. Burak's large, round body stiffened. They are watching. I feel them. The ones who stole from me. Mark tightened his grip on Burak's support frame. Then we need to be smart, not reckless. Let's take a safe path to the station authorities. Burak's eyes widened. Authorities? They do not help. Many have tried and failed. They fear them, or they are too busy. Mark shook his head. We'll try anyway. But if they refuse, we have other options. Lily skipped forward. We can't let bad guys win, right, Dad? No, Mark said firmly. We won't. As they moved through the station, Burak told Mark more about his species and life on Garen. He explained that his people valued trade and knowledge, but those who were physically weak often faced harsh judgment. Burak had spent his entire life avoiding conflict and hiding his weakness, always careful not to draw attention. Mark listened closely. You've been very brave, Burak, even coming here. Burak looked at him with surprise. Brave? I only wanted to survive. Surviving is a kind of bravery, Mark said. But sometimes bravery is also about trusting someone else. You trusted us today. The alien seemed to consider this. Yes. I have never trusted anyone like this. Humans. You are different, Mark smiled. We try to be. Finally, they reached the station's security office. The doors slid open with a soft hiss, revealing rows of desks and officers monitoring screens filled with surveillance footage. Mark guided Burak inside. A security officer glanced at them briefly. Can we help you? Mark explained the situation calmly. This alien was robbed in the market. His transport was stolen and he was left vulnerable. We want to report the crime and find those responsible. The officer leaned back in his chair. Robbed, huh? That happens all the time. We can file a report, but we cannot guarantee immediate action. The market is crowded and identifying suspects is difficult. Burak's round body sagged with disappointment. I thought maybe someone would care. Mark took a deep breath. We'll find another way. Lily tugged at Mark's sleeve. Dad, maybe we can help him ourselves. Mark smiled, ruffling her hair. We might have to, but carefully. Outside the office, Mark found a quiet corner. He and Lily discussed a plan. They needed evidence, witnesses, and a way to stop the criminals without putting Burak at risk. The market was large, but Mark knew humans had an advantage: creativity, courage, and resourcefulness. Burak watched them with a mix of hope and nervousness. I cannot move fast. I cannot fight. I am helpless. You're not helpless, Mark said firmly. You've survived worse. And now you have us. That counts for a lot. Burak's large hands trembled slightly. I do not know how to repay you. Mark shook his head. No repayment needed. We're just doing what's right, Lily beamed. And besides, helping is fun. Burak blinked. He had never thought of helping or being helped as fun. It was a strange, comforting idea. The next step was to gather witnesses. Mark and Lily moved through the market, asking those who had seen the robbery to speak up. At first, most aliens refused, shaking their heads or scurrying away. But slowly, some came forward. A merchant had seen masked figures dragging a large bundle away. A floating delivery drone recorded blurry footage of the event. Good, Mark said quietly. This is enough to start. Burok's round eyes glistened. You are…
Really helping me?
Mark smiled. Of course. No one should be left alone like that. With the evidence in hand, Mark had to make a choice. The criminals were dangerous. Most species would have ignored them, fearing trouble, but Mark could not stand by. He found a secure corner and activated his small recording device. This is Mark Dallin, he said, speaking clearly. I am reporting a theft and attempted intimidation against an alien named Burok. These criminals must be stopped. Citizens of this station, please share this footage. Let justice be done. The device automatically broadcasted the video across the station's communication network. Within minutes, whispers spread. Crowds gathered around monitors, shocked to see masked figures stealing from a helpless alien. Burok could not believe what he was seeing. Humans, you actually fight without fighting? Mark nodded. Sometimes standing up is more powerful than a punch. Truth can be stronger than fear. Lily squeezed Burok's hand. See, you're safe now. The criminals noticed the broadcast almost immediately. They looked around the market, angry and frustrated, but now the public was watching. They realized their actions were exposed. The station chief, embarrassed by the public scrutiny, ordered security forces to intervene. Within minutes, the thieves were apprehended. Burok watched, stunned. They did it? They stopped them? Yes, Mark said calmly. Because the truth matters, and because people like us will not let others suffer when we can help. For the first time, Burok felt something he had never experienced before. Trust. Humans, he realized, were not only strong, but they had a courage that came from compassion. After the criminals were taken away, Burok was helped to a quiet area to rest. His round body slumped in relief. Mark and Lily stayed by his side, ensuring he was comfortable. Thank you, Burok said softly. You are truly different. On my world, most would have left me. Humans, you stand for others, Mark smiled. We try to do the right thing. That's all anyone can do. Lily leaned on Burok's arm. And now you're safe. That's what matters, Burok nodded. For the first time in his life, he felt hope. Not just for himself, but for what he could trust in others. He realized that perhaps with humans like Mark and Lily, the galaxy was not so frightening after all. As night fell over the station, the market quieted. Stars glimmered through the large observation windows. Burok rested, supported by his new transport frame. He reflected on the day's events. Humans were strange, unpredictable, and yet remarkable. Mark and Lily sat nearby, tired but satisfied. They had helped someone who could not help himself. And in doing so, they had shown that bravery is not always about fighting. It is about choosing to care. Burok's heart, metaphorically speaking, felt lighter. He had been saved, not only by physical help, but by kindness, courage, and the unexpected heroism of a human father and his daughter. And though he could not know what the future held, one thing was certain: he would never forget them. The next morning on the space station arrived quietly. The artificial lights shifted slowly from soft blue to bright white, signaling daytime. Merchants raised their shutters, robots began their routes, and the crowd grew thicker with each passing minute. But something felt different. There was a quiet tension in the air, like everyone was waiting for something to happen. Burok woke early in the small rest booth Mark had rented for him. His round body was supported by his transport frame, and for the first time in many days he slept without fear. Lily sat nearby, eating a small breakfast bar while humming a happy song. Mark entered the booth with 2 cups of warm liquid from a vendor. He handed one to Burok. It helps calm the nerves, he said. Burok sniffed the drink carefully. It smells sweet, he whispered, then took a tiny sip. His large eyes widened. Delicious. Thank you. You're welcome, Mark replied. He looked calm, but inside his mind was active. He knew the criminals who robbed Burok would not stay silent. A spotlight on their actions meant attention, and criminals disliked attention. They would either hide deeper or try to scare others into silence. Lily didn't notice the heavy atmosphere. She bounced near Burok, excited. You can move better now. That means we can explore the station together. Burak smiled gently. Perhaps, but maybe later. I must rest more. I am still afraid. You're safe with us, Lily said without hesitation. Mark nodded. We'll stay by your side. But we must be careful. Not everyone liked what happened yesterday. Outside the booth, strange whispers moved through the market. Some praised Mark, calling him a brave man. Others looked suspiciously at him, fearful this attention could bring trouble. A few merchants nervously closed their stalls early. Around midday, Mark guided Burak to a nearby food court. The place was spacious, with tables shaped like stars and colorful banners hanging overhead. Aliens from dozens of worlds enjoyed meals, floating soups, glowing fruit slices, and crunchy energy wafers. Burak stared at the menu, overwhelmed. So many choices, but I do not know what is safe. Mark pointed to a gentle dish with soft grains. Try this. It's good for digestion. Burak nodded, trusting him completely. They ate quietly, but just as Burak took his first bite, a loud voice echoed across the food court. Well, look what we have here. Mark looked up calmly. 4 masked aliens approached their table. Their armor glinted under the station lights. Each wore the same black symbol, a circle with 3 stripes. It was the mark of a small but dangerous gang known as the Striped Shadows. Burak's body trembled. It is them, he whispered. Lily hid behind her father. Mark stood slowly. We reported your actions. You should leave. Security is watching, the leader laughed. Security? They only acted because the station chief panicked. But now the broadcast is old news. Today we take back what belongs to us. Mark stayed calm. You stole from someone who couldn't defend himself. That's wrong. The leader's voice hardened. We do what we must. And now you interfered. Around them, the food court fell silent. Many turned away, afraid to get involved. Burak whispered, I am sorry. I should not have asked for help. Mark shook his head firmly. Never apologize for needing help. The gang members stepped closer. Their boots clicked sharply against the metal floor. Mark positioned himself between them and Burak. You don't want to do this, he warned. The leader leaned forward. Actually, we do. Suddenly, a station droid nearby beeped loudly. Alert! Disturbance in Sector 4 food hall, it repeated. Mark had secretly set his communication device to broadcast again, quietly and automatically, when he pressed a small button under the table. The camera on his wrist recorded everything. The gang froze as a red warning light flashed above them. Many citizens pulled out their own recording devices, capturing the moment from different angles. The leader cursed under his breath. Fine, not here. But this isn't over, human. The group turned and marched away, disappearing into the crowd. Burak collapsed back into his seat. They will return. Stronger. Angrier. Mark sat beside him. Probably. But we won't run. We'll outsmart them. Burak shook his head. Why risk yourself? I am not important. Mark smiled calmly. Everyone is important. No one deserves fear. Later that afternoon, rumors spread across the station like wildfire. Citizens saw the broadcast again, replaying the confrontation. Some praised Mark's courage. Others whispered that he was causing trouble. A few merchants secretly approached him. You should take your friend and leave the station, one said quietly. The Striped Shadows control many areas. They won't stop. Mark shook his head. Running solves nothing. Meanwhile, Lily created small signs that said, "Be kind," and handed them out to curious aliens. Surprisingly, many accepted them and smiled. Slowly, hearts changed. But in the shadows, the gang watched, growing frustrated. The leader slammed his fist against a wall. He embarrasses us. He must learn a lesson. Tonight, we act. Evening fell. The station lights dimmed. The market quieted, and only a few shops remained open. Mark and Lily relaxed near the observation window. Burak rested beside them, watching the stars outside. They look so close, he whispered. But so far, too, Mark replied. Space can feel lonely, but with friends, it feels smaller. Burak nodded slowly. Friends? I never had them before, Lily grinned. Well, now you have 2. Burak's heart warmed. Yes, 2 I am. Lucky. Just then, Mark's device buzzed. A message flashed. Suspicious activity near maintenance deck. Possible danger. Stay alert. Mark's eyes narrowed. They're coming. Burak trembled. I cannot fight. You don't have to, Mark said. Trust me. He guided Burak through the quieter deck corridors. They moved toward an emergency storage room, where Mark had prepared something earlier, just in case. He opened a box and pulled out small reflective beacons. These are sound amplifiers. When activated, they produce loud noise and flash bright light. They confuse attackers. Burak watched in amazement. You prepared? All this for me? Mark nodded. A good plan beats strength any day. Lily placed the beacons carefully around the room. We'll scare them away. Footsteps echoed. The gang appeared at the door. There you are, the leader hissed. Mark raised his hands calmly. You don't have to do this. Walk away, the leader shook his head. No, we finish this now. He signaled his gang to advance. Mark pressed a small button. Instantly, blinding light erupted from the floor. Sharp noise followed, echoing like thunder. The gang staggered, covering their ears. Mark shouted, Now, Burak! Burak activated his transport frame's stabilizer, moving forward slowly but steadily. Lily guided him, weaving around the blinded attackers. The gang tried to regain balance, but the flashing lights disoriented them. When the noise finally faded, the striped shadows found themselves surrounded not by Mark, but by dozens of recorded camera drones floating silently above them. Every action was streamed live. The leader froze. Stop recording. Too late. Security officers burst through the doors, alerted by the broadcast. The chief pointed. Arrest them. The gang knew they were finished. They dropped their weapons and surrendered. Mark exhaled softly. Lily cheered. Burak's eyes shimmered with relief. The officer approached Mark. You planned this? Mark shrugged lightly. I just wanted to stop injustice. The officer nodded respectfully. You did more than that. You inspired many. After the criminals were taken away, the citizens gathered. Some clapped. Others thanked Mark personally. One alien offered him free supplies. Another gifted Lily a glowing sticker. Burak stared at all of them, overwhelmed. I cannot believe this. My whole life, I was told I was weak, that no one cared. But now, Mark placed a steady hand on his shoulder. Now you know the truth. Strength isn't only in muscles. It's in heart. And your heart never gave up, Lily added happily. And we're your friends forever. Burak felt tears well up, not from sadness, but from deep joy. Thank you. I will never forget. That night, Burak slept peacefully again. The danger was gone. The station felt safe, and Mark smiled quietly, proud of what his daughter learned today. Helping someone changes the world. Tomorrow, something new would happen, something big, something unexpected. Because Burak was not just any alien. His species watched everything, and soon, humanity's kindness would echo across the stars. The next morning, the space station was quiet but alive with energy. Merchants opened their stalls, vendors displayed glowing goods, and travelers moved carefully along the polished metal walkways. But for Burak, Mark, and Lily, the morning held a sense of anticipation. The events of the previous day had changed everything. For the first time in his life, Burak felt safe, supported, and hopeful. Burak sat in his transport frame near the observation deck. He gazed at the stars beyond the massive windows, fascinated. So many lights, he whispered. It is beautiful, but distant. Like many things in my life, Mark leaned beside him. Sometimes things feel far away until someone helps you get closer. You're not alone anymore, Burak. Lily smiled brightly. And we're not going anywhere. You're part of our family now, at least for today. Burak chuckled softly. It was strange to hear laughter without fear, and even stranger to feel it without guilt. He had never experienced such genuine kindness before. While they enjoyed the view, a sudden signal flashed on Burak's communication device. His eyes widened as he read the message. Burak, it said, we are observing the events you reported. Humanity has acted with unexpected bravery and compassion. We wish to meet your human allies immediately. Signed, Garen Council Observer Unit. Mark raised an eyebrow. Garen Council? That sounds important, Burak nodded slowly. It is very important. My species has a council that evaluates others. They watch the galaxy. They judge, and they do not often praise humans. Lily clapped her hands. They want to meet us. That's amazing. Mark chuckled. Amazing, yes. But let's stay careful. We don't know what to expect. The council requested a private conference in a secure station chamber. Mark and Lily followed Burak into the high-security area. The room was circular, with walls of transparent alloy displaying stars in every direction. In the center floated several shimmering forms, members of the Garen Council. They had elongated, elegant bodies, glimmering skin, and eyes that seemed to see everything. Burak's voice trembled slightly. They are the council. They rarely grant meetings. You are honored to meet them. Mark bowed slightly. We're honored as well. But really, we only did what anyone should do. Help those in need. One council member, taller than the others, floated closer. Its voice was melodic and calm. Mark Dallin. Lily Dallin, your actions yesterday were unexpected. We observed a species in most reports that avoids interference, avoids risk. But you intervened. You helped a being others ignored. Mark shook his head. I didn't do anything special. We just couldn't let someone be hurt. The council member's many eyes blinked slowly, and yet that choice demonstrates courage and moral strength. Traits, rare in the galaxy. Burak hovered beside them, round arms trembling slightly. I told them about humans, about what you did. They said this may change their opinion of your kind. The council continued to speak, and Burak translated where needed. They asked questions about humans, their culture, and their values. Mark answered honestly. He explained the importance of compassion, family, and standing up for what is right. He spoke about teamwork, kindness, and the responsibility to help others whenever possible. Lily added her thoughts too, sharing how simple actions like holding a hand, speaking gently, or encouraging someone could make a huge difference. The council listened carefully, analyzing every word. Finally, the lead council member spoke. Humanity's potential is greater than expected. A species capable of both intelligence and empathy may contribute meaningfully to the galaxy. Your actions reflect hope, strength, and courage. We commend you. Burak's round eyes widened. You praise humans? The council member nodded. Yes, actions like yours are inspiring. We may consider humans as allies for future interstellar cooperation. Your kindness has not gone unnoticed. Mark smiled quietly. We just helped someone who needed it. That's all, Lily jumped excitedly. But it's amazing that they noticed. We really made a difference. Burak felt something new, pride. Not for himself, but for the humans beside him. They had risked nothing physical, yet achieved something far greater than brute strength could ever offer. Respect, recognition, and admiration across the stars. After the council meeting, Burak asked Mark and Lily to return with him to the station market. He wanted to show them something important. When they arrived, the atmosphere was different. The crowd no longer whispered about the previous day with fear or shame. Merchants bowed slightly as Burak passed. Citizens smiled at him, and even children waved. Burak's story and Mark and Lily's intervention had spread quickly. This is what I never thought possible, Burak said softly. The others? They now see. Humans are special. Mark shook his head. You didn't see them before because you weren't meant to be judged by fear or ignorance. Sometimes people need an example to follow. Lily tugged at Burak's arm, and now they have one. You helped show them the right way. Later, Mark helped Burak adjust his transport frame and guided him to the medical wing to receive a permanent mobility device. Burak's round body fit comfortably into the new device, which had smooth, quiet propulsion and advanced balance systems. I can move better now, Burak whispered. Faster, safer. Stronger, all because of you. You've got it, Mark said. But remember, strength isn't only in your legs. You've shown courage, too. That matters just as much, Burak smiled. For the first time in his life, he truly believed it. Over the next few days, Burak spent time recovering fully. He moved through the station with ease, using his transport device confidently. Citizens often stopped him to ask questions, admire his new device, or thank him for sharing his story. Everywhere he went, Burak proudly mentioned Mark and Lily, explaining how humans had helped him when no one else would. The story spread beyond the station. Communications networks carried tales of the human father and daughter who had protected a helpless alien. Across several planets, whispers began, humans are protectors. They value kindness and courage above all. Burak watched, amazed. I never thought humans could be known like this. Across the stars, Mark smiled. Kindness travels far, Burak, Even farther than the fastest starship, Lily laughed. And it's way faster than a gossiping alien. Burak laughed softly. It was a sound of relief and joy, a sound he had not heard from himself in years. Before leaving the station, Burak prepared to report back to his home planet. He contacted the Garen Council explaining every detail. Mark and Lily's names were highlighted again. They must visit Earth one day, Burak said softly. Your species. You are rare. Good. Brave, Mark waved. We'll always help when we can. That's what humans do, Lily added. And we have friends like you, Burak. That's even better. Burak nodded, smiling broadly. Friends, yes. Friends forever. As Burak left the station in a sleek interstellar ship, he looked back at Mark and Lily one last time. I will tell everyone. About you. About humans. About your courage. Your kindness. It will echo in the galaxy, Mark waved. Safe travels, Burak. Remember, we're proud to call you our friend. Lily jumped up and down excitedly. Come back soon. Burak smiled, his round eyes glistening with emotion. I will. I promise. Months later, across multiple planets, the story of the human father and daughter spread. People told their children about courage that came from compassion. Aliens began to approach humans more often, seeking help or friendship. Humans were no longer seen as just another species. They were seen as protectors, heroes and examples of morality in action. Burak returned to Earth one day, visiting Mark and Lily with gifts from Garen, glowing crystals, a small hover device, and letters of admiration from the Council. He had a new confidence, a new purpose, and a deep respect for humans. Mark laughed as Burak tried to sit awkwardly in a human chair. You're welcome any time, Burak. Lily hugged him tightly. And don't forget our adventures together. Burak's round body shook with laughter. Never, I will tell everyone. About the humans who showed me hope. About the humans who stood up when no one else would. About my friends. And in that moment, across the stars, the legend of a human father, his brave daughter, and the alien they saved became more than a story. It became a symbol, a reminder that courage, kindness, and standing for what is right could change the galaxy. The stars above seemed to shine brighter that night, as if acknowledging a new truth. Humans were protectors. Humans were heroes, and their light would echo forever.